Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is for our fourth lecture in communicative language teaching, and today we are talking about thinking about the experience. We have observations and we have principles. We should understand what is the principle that we can get from each observation. The teacher distributes a handout that has a copy of a sport column from a recent newspaper. Here we are talking about the authentic language that should be introduced in the different situation and always in the communicative language teaching. And what is authentic language? Language as it's used in a real situation or a real context. So authentic language is important in communicative language teaching. Should be introduced in the different situation. And it is the language as it's used in real situation. The teacher tells the students to underline the reporter prediction. Okay. So being able to understand, to underline, to figure out the speaker's intention, the speaker's main ideas is very important and it's part of the communicative competence. So students can be successfully communicative competence when he can understand or figure out the reporter or the speaker's main point or intention. The teacher gives its students the direction for the activity in the target language. Target language is the only language used in the communicative language teaching, and it's not only subject to study, but it is vehicle of classroom communication. هي أداة تواصل في الصف. Okay, so it's the only language used in the classroom. It's not only a topic to study, but it is vehicle of classroom communication. It's the tool or the only tool of communication used in the classroom. The students try to state the reporter's prediction in different words. And here we talk about what? Paraphrasing. The teacher asks them to convey the same meaning with different words. So one function can have many different linguistic forms. The same meaning can convey with different meaning, with different words, with different patterns or forms of the language. The emphasis on the process of communication rather than just mastery of language forms. Students are not required to master the forms or the patterns or structure of the language, rather than to understand the emphasis here is the process of communicating. How to communicate, how to convey the meaning, how to communicate correctly. Okay, these students unscramble the sentences. When they finish reading and underlining and working some activities on the text, the teacher asks them to reorder the sentences. And this depends on the cohesion and coherence. Students should be able to connect the sentences, to link or to bind the sentence to each other by using conjunction connectors, by using the different type of signals, time signals or order signals, okay, to connect the sentences. And this must learn about cohesion and coherence. These properties of language which bind the sentence. So cohesion and coherence are the connector, are the bind that we use to connect sentences to each other. The students play a language game. Okay, language games or games are important in language learning used in the communicative language teaching, because games have certain features or have features or characteristics in common with the real communicative events. Okay, so when they play games or they work on activities that have games, they have features in common with real situations. Also, the speaker receives immediate feedback. Yes, it's very important that in this situation, the games, that the speaker receive feedback from the other members in the group, because they always work in a group, so they receive immediate feedback, and this is very important for language development or promote communication in the different activities, or to be successfully communicated or communication. Also, students work in small groups, maximize the amount of communicative practice they receive. Okay, when they work in a group of 2, 3, or 4, or even 5, so each student have opportunity to participate. This maximizes the amount of communicative practice for each student. Each one will participate, will have a role in the different activities. The students are asked how they feel about the reporter prediction. Okay, this is the only method that gives students an opportunity to talk about their ideas, their opinion, and their feeling. You remember that in the previous method we haven't talked about this, or this is the feeling are not dealt with, students' feeling. But here it's important because it gives students opportunity to talk about their ideas and their opinion. Number 8, students makes an error the teacher and the other students ignore. Errors are tolerated because they are seen as natural outcome of the developments of communicative or communication skills. And it's important here to remind ourselves that fluency is more important than accuracy, so the teacher and the other students ignore the errors, and the teacher note these errors and will come to them after or later on or at the end of the activity. The teacher gives each group of students a script story and a task to perform. One of the teacher major responsibilities is to establish situations, to create activities likely to promote communication. Okay, so he creates situations or activities, and these situations will develop the student's ability in communication. Number 10, the students work with a partner or partners. Okay, communicative interaction encourage cooperative relationship among students. You remember that we said we said that the students achieve their task in cooperation with other students. So this type of communication, this type of activities that students work together will encourage cooperative relationship among students. It gives students an opportunity to work on negotiating meaning. The students do a role play. They are to imagine that they are all employees in one company. The social context of communicative events is essential in giving meaning to the events. So to imagine that they are in a real situation will give meaning to the situation they are in or to the trances they produce. The teacher reminds the students that one of you is your boss, okay, and they should remember this when they talk to her or to him. So learning to use language form appropriately is an important part of communicative competence. Okay, جزء من القدرة التواصل to understand how to use the language appropriately. When you talk to your boss is different when you talk to your colleague. So to use the language, not only what to say but how to say. This is also important. The teacher moves from group to group, offering advice and answering questions. The teacher acts as facilitator when he or she creates situations, and also he or she is advisor when he observes and advise students how to start, how to communicate, how to initiate their activities. 14. The students suggest alternative forms they would use to state prediction to a colleague. In communicating, a speaker has a choice not only about what to say but how to say, and we have discussed this. Okay, students should know how to say, not only what to say, to be able to communicate appropriately and correctly. After the role play is finished, the students elicit relevant vocabularies. From the different activities, students learn the grammar patterns and vocabularies from the different situation or the different activities they practice it in the in the CLT classroom. Okay, so they can use these what they have learned in the other situation or other in the other real situations. 16, for the homework, these students are to find out about 2 political candidates and to make prediction about which one will be successful in the forthcoming elections. So students should be given opportunity to work on language as it is used in authentic communication. The teacher start with authentic language in real in text taken from sport columns, and it is real situation or also prediction. So the final activity, the homework, they have to work on also on real situation, and they have to predict about who will win in the next election or the forthcoming elections. And students here, they can use what they have learned from the different activities they have practiced during the CLT classroom. Okay, and here we finish the this thinking about the experience. So thank you for today, and we still have 2 lectures to finish the CLT. So thank you for today, and see you next week.